What is up, my dudes? This is Seth with the Fantasy Football Dudes podcast. We're back at you guys with Week 16 Underdog Pick'ems, where we share our favorite Week 16 props, player props, and top plays. Me and Jordan are each going to give 3 pod plays that we like, so 6 total, and then we'll have an official pod play at the end. But we're also going to talk about some of our other favorite props that aren't going to be necessarily represented in the graphics on this show. But yes, guys, this is 16 weeks in a row. I'm really glad we did this year. Hasn't been I feel like the most successful one, just because I feel like some weird things have happened. But lately, I feel like we've been on a roll. At least these last 3 weeks, I feel like we've been getting at least 5 of our 6 picks. I think in the last 2 or 3 weeks, so it feels pretty good. Jordan, how you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm doing good. It's been I don't know. I feel like the first 12 weeks of the year went by really quick. And I do feel like
Yeah.
the last, and maybe it's just because I'm getting more busy in like my personal life, like with coaching and stuff. We're just in the
Mm-hmm.
craziness of like I have games every night or something every day. And so maybe it's like the combination of the two, but I feel like the last kind of 3 weeks, it's really slowed down, like as far as like not going as fast. So and we're also in the dog days, right? Like playoffs are right around actual like fantasy playoffs are now here, but like
Mm-hmm.
actual NFL playoffs are right around the corner. Half the teams are playing for nothing. So, but yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah, I know I'm playing you in one of our dynasty leagues in semis here. I kind of snaked my way in there and I kind of upset someone last week, so I'm hoping to upset
No,
Jordan.
you
I think for
upset
number
me, Seth.
last week?
Yeah,
Did I really? I'm pretty sure I'm playing you this week.
unless I'm tripping. I lost last week in the dynasty league we're in to you.
Oh, you're right. I did upset you this week. I'm playing the number 2 seed. Yeah, I did upset you last
Yeah.
week. That's true. Yeah, I scored an insane amount of points. That was crazy. But anyways, yeah, so I did upset Jordan last week, so that was pretty cool. Jordan was the 3 seed. I snaked my way in and
And it
beat
was like a
Jordan.
clear top three. Like the top three was very clear in that league. And
Yeah, no, it
yeah, I
really
lost.
was, and I think I came in with a losing record, so that was
Yeah.
pretty cool. But anyways, I'll get into my first play this week, guys. I'm going back to running backs. I've stayed off receivers, or I've stayed off running backs for too long. Finally, getting back into them this week. I have I feel like okay, it might be a cupcake play, but it's a relatively higher rush reception line for a running back. I really like this one just because New England's defense isn't very good. And Josh Allen, yes, has been running the ball in the end zone a ton. But I really like James Cook this week. I think he's serviceable. If he doesn't run one in, I really think he's going to catch one. And I think New England's not going to put up much of a fight to this high powered Buffalo offense where Josh Allen, I feel like, yes, he's probably still going to have top 3 QB performance, but James Cook is going to run one in. And I think he can finish top 5 in terms of running back usage this week in terms of fantasy football. But I really like this rush reception line at 0.89. It's possible that multiplier does go down a little bit, but I really like that one because I think it's just going to hit, and I like it because it's a higher multiplier compared to like a Saquon who's usually like a 0.6 something. So I really like that one this week.
Yeah. I like James Cook as well this week, Seth. So yeah, I really like that one too. I can get into my first play. I have Travis Etienne over 41.5 rush yards. This is pretty much matchup based for me. I've kind of stayed away from the Jaguars running backs all year. Etienne's seen double-digit carries in 3 of his last 4. He's went over this line in the last 3 of 5. This Raiders team is really bad against the run. Last week they gave up like 160 yards combined between Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier. The week before they gave up 90 yards rushing to Rashad White. The week before that, they did pretty good against the Chiefs. So, but the last couple of weeks they've been pretty bad against the run. Week 11, 73 yards to A-Chain. Week 9, 120 yards, Chase Brown. So it's just a pretty good matchup. Travis Etienne has seen about half the carries. I don't. It's pretty close. It's going to be a close spread, or is a close spread. Should be a competitive game. Don't see the Jaguars having to play behind very much. I think Etienne could is pretty. I think I like his opportunity to get over this 41.5 rush yards line.
Yeah, Jordan, I really like that one. Just seems really low. I mean, I know ETN kind of got, had some injuries and then kind of got removed right from that RB1 status. And the Jaguars just haven't been good. But I think that's too low for a bad Raiders team that can't stop the run very well. Really like that line. Just seems too low once again. I'll get into my second play this week. And I'm kind of going back to this guy. I think I used him 2 weeks ago, but I'm going to go back to the well. I think it was 2 weeks ago I used Mike Evans, and I think his line was 69.5, and I got right on the 69. So this number, when I first sent this play, I think 2 days ago, Mike Evans, at least if you guys are watching here on YouTube, you'll see it's at 67.5. It was at 76.5. And then today it's down to 67. So that doesn't make me feel very good. But also, I mean, this Dallas defense does not, I mean, they give up passing yards, and I think Mike Evans is going to get in the 70 mark. I really think it should be in the 70s. But I think maybe just with Mike Evans' recent numbers, he does kind of fit around this high 60s mark. That's kind of like where he's been finishing games at, except for his 100-yard game, I think two games ago. But I really like this this line. I think he's going to finish in the 70s. Honestly, if the line probably goes back to 76, don't play it. But I was going to use it then. But like I said, for some reason, Vegas always feels like knows more than me. But Mike Evans being the wide receiver one here against a susceptible Dallas defense, he's just going to get peppered with targets here. And I really like this line.
Yeah, Seth, I like that one too. That would have been one of mine if it wasn't one of yours. So like that one a lot. My projections really like that one too. So I'll get into my second one. I had Devontae Adams over 72.5 receiving yards against this LA Rams team. This is more like the matchup's okay. Like I wouldn't say that it's like awesome, but it's solid. 2 weeks ago, the Rams absolutely got crushed by Josh Allen and Shakir and Cooper. But I mean, other than that, week 12, AJ Brown had a good game. New England kind of had some good receiving games against them in week 11. Week 9, Jason went off in this game against the Rams. So I like Devontae in this spot. He's kind of been crushing the last 2 weeks. He's gone over 100 yards the last 2 weeks. Aaron Rodgers seems to kind of be in a groove with them right now. So I like the over 72.5 receiving yards.
Yeah, that's just I feel like it's just been a smash, especially with the last 2 weeks, how Devontae's been. Seems like Aaron Rodgers has gotten better. I am curious if he's kind of just playing for his job at this point. Like I wonder if, the whole organization just wants to see if they can run it back with this squad, because I really think like they have the talent to win games. It just doesn't seem like they're doing it. I think it could be Rodgers, really. But if you look in terms of his stats, I've seen this all over the place. Like Aaron Rodgers' stats are comparable to Patrick Mahomes, but obviously one's winning and one's not. So there's that difference there. I'll get into my last play this week. Yes, guys, I'm doing 2 running backs in a week, so that's pretty cool. I have Jahmyr Gibbs at 87.5 rushing yards against the Chicago Bears. So David Montgomery going down, obviously a big hit because Gibbs and Montgomery were splitting snaps. I think Gibbs obviously outsnaps Montgomery a little bit more, but they definitely were splitting carries. But Gibbs is just going to be an absolute workhorse in this role. I really don't see them using any other running backs except for, just a rest spell for Gibbs. I really think he goes over this line pretty easily. I think he gets into the hundreds this week. I think Detroit, obviously put up a lot of points last week and barely lost due to a bummer decision to do an onside kick early. But I think Detroit's going to want to really show something in this game and just beat the tar out of the Bears. So I really like this line. Gibbs is probably going for 100. I think I'm just going to call that there. I might even do flex it up to 100 to see if, that could be pretty fun. But like this line, Gibbs 87.5, smash you over there.
Yeah, I like that one without I don't think the numbers really know what to do when it Gibbs by itself, right? We haven't really seen Gibbs this year backfield to himself. Yeah, I'm sure they'll get Craig Reynolds in there and kind of other guys, but I do like that one a lot. I'll get into my third one. I have Jordan Addison over 52.5 receiving yards. He's went over this in the last 5 games. He's getting a ton of targets. Kind of feels like he's almost not taking away from JJ, but it's not like JJ is getting peppered, because Addison's getting peppered, So This Seattle team is definitely beatable through the air. Again, it's not like it's an awesome matchup, but it's just kind of like I think they're gonna feed Addison. Not necessarily feed Addison, but I think they're going to move the ball through the air. You know, a couple weeks ago, I mean, the Cardinals. Yeah, I mean, again, this is not a great matchup. This is more just a volume-based play for me. Like week 9, the Rams receivers had a good day. Week 11, the Niners, Juwan Jennings had a really good game. So they're definitely a beatable matchup. I just think the number's too low for what Addison's been doing. We've seen over the last this year where some receivers had their numbers have just kind of sat. Like Cortland Sutton was one that kind of sat in the 50s for a long time. Some of these there's a couple other receivers that I'm not thinking off the top of my head, but where their numbers have just sat in the 50s for like multiple weeks in a row and they weren't really moving. I think Addison's in that spot right now where his number is not really moving. And he's continuously going over it. So I like Addison here in this spot.
Yeah, I think one of those players was Judy. I think he was there for a while.
Judy was the other
Winston.
one. Yep,
Yeah.
Judy was the other one.
That was just like a smash play, I think, for at least 3 weeks in a row. I feel like this is the same way with Addison. What was interesting is I did see a breakdown of the Vikings. That I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago where Jefferson, I think, had 1 target or no targets through the first half because they were bracketing him. And Addison was completely just destroying him because they were not, they weren't accounting for that. And I think they unbracketed Jefferson, and then Jefferson started catching stuff, and then they were both catching stuff.
Yeah.
So I think it's hard to game plan for both these guys. And then you also have TJ Hawkinson, and like the Vikings have a good offense, and I don't really know how the Seahawks are going to do. So this line, I think for Addison is a smash. I think he's probably going to finish in the 70s at least. And I think as a sad Seahawks fan, I think both these guys could honestly both go for 100 yards this week. It's not out of the realm, even with, the theoretical matchup we see here. But I really like that play, Jordan. We don't have an official pod play graphic, but do we want to put one together?
Yeah. What do you like here? I really like the Mike Evans one. What do you like?
Yeah, the Mike Evans one. And then I mean, the touchdown for Cook I like too, but I also like the Gibbs. So, I mean, we can take 2 of yours and 1 of mine.
No, let's do 2 of yours. Let's do the Mike Evans and the Gibbs. And then let's do Addison over 52.5.
Sounds good. Yep. So we have Gibbs at 87.5, and then we have Mike Evans at 67.5. And then we have Addison over 52.5. That's our official pod play this week, guys. I believe that's a 6X on Underdog. So if you guys want to use our code there, they'll match you up to $1,000. So if you use our code dudes, they'll match you up to $1,000. You put in 1,000, they'll give you 1,000. Check us out on YouTube, guys, where you can see me and Jordan's ugly mugs and also see our cool graphics that Trent makes. Thanks for joining us, guys, and always take care. We'll be back at week 17. So see you guys then. Take care.
This has been another episode of the Fantasy Football Dudes podcast. Remember to rate, review, and follow. For more information, go to www.thefantasyfootballdudes.com. And remember, we are sorry for absolutely nothing.